Well, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today at Friends of Balboa Park's 17th Annual Awards Luncheon. I am truly honored to serve as the Executive Director of Friends, a nonprofit organization that champions this magnificent place that we all cherish. Friends is the sum of all those parts that define organizational success. Dozens of dedicated volunteers, a talented board of directors reflecting our community's best leadership qualities, a small core of professional staff, hundreds of generous and visionary donors, and a whole community of park lovers. As our slogan conveys so succinctly, Balboa Park is your park. It's our passion. And those of you who have supported us since our founding in 1999 know Friends of Balboa Park gets things done. And I'm pleased to report that, as in years past, 2017 has so far been another great year of success. Earlier this year, thanks to funding from Los Patrones and the support of our partners at the Balboa Park Online Collaborative, Kiosk Arts, and the city's Park and Recreation Department, we upgraded 2 of the park's 5 information kiosks with modern technology and a new map for park-wide use, enhancing the ability of our visitors to find their way around Balboa Park's 1,200 acres. This spring, after an exhaustive 2-year effort, we completed restoration of the 2 historic gatehouses in Sefton Plaza that bookend the west end of the Cabrillo Bridge. The response to this project from the community has been tremendous. And in fact, Save Our Heritage organization graciously recognized the volunteer project lead, our very own Jim Hughes, for his tireless efforts on the gatehouses, giving so much of his personal time, talent, and treasure. How about There's Jim right back there. Thank you, Jim. So far this year, Friends of Balboa Park has installed 3 new historical landmark signs located at the California Quadrangle outside the Museum of Man, the Zorro Gardens between the Fleet Science Center and the San Diego History Center, and the historic Ford Building, home to the Air and Space Museum. We want to thank County Supervisor Ron Roberts and the County of San Diego, as well as our friends at the Air and Space Museum for their recent support of the signage program. During the 2016 to 2017 school year, we were able to expand our successful park field trip program. Thanks to increased individual, corporate, and foundation support, Friends facilitated field trips to park institutions for more than 3,300 San Diego area school children from 38 schools. Most of these students come from Title I schools from within underserved communities who likely would not otherwise have had the opportunity to experience the wonders of Balboa Park. And finally, you might have heard that wee bit of monumental news about a certain beloved merry-go-round. Thanks to the vision of our board of directors, the encouragement of the city of San Diego, key early donors, many of whom are in this audience here today, and a wonderful strategic and philanthropic partnership with its previous owner, Mr. Bill Steen, the historic 1910 Herschel Spillman Menagerie Carousel officially became a permanent fixture here under the banner of Friends of Balboa Park. Of course, no announcement of this magnitude should ever be made without a party, right? So this past July 25th, just so happens to be National Carousel Day, we invited over 4,000 of our closest guests from all parts of the community to celebrate this news and create a wonderful rediscovery of this marvelous piece of the park's heritage. You'll be hearing quite a bit more about the carousel throughout today's program, including how you, everyone in this room, can help us preserve the carousel and partner with Park and Recreation in transforming the entire carousel site into a fantastic venue for park visitors of all ages. Yes, the past year has seen a number of milestone achievements, but it's important to emphasize that these simply build on a longer legacy of success for Friends of Balboa Park. Since 1999, we have delivered over 300 improvement projects and programs throughout Balboa Park, valued at more than $8 million. We helped map the park's dated irrigation systems and installed new components, restored the balustrades at the El Cid statue, restored the lily pond at the Botanical Building, and continue to partner with the Park and Recreation Department on the Adopt a Plot program. We host seasonal displays at the Botanical Building, join with our fellow nonprofit partners to restore the 31 light standards along the Cabrillo Bridge, and have so far installed 33 landmark and wayfinding signs throughout the park. And Friends hosts an annual Arbor Day tree planting every April to help repopulate Balboa Park's urban forest. We help transform the medians on Park Boulevard into scenic, water-wise micro-landscapes. And we played a meaningful role in revitalizing the 6th Avenue playground. And finally, we have restored on a couple of occasions the iconic fountains outside the Botanical Building. These are just a few of the examples of the wonderful body of work of Friends of Balboa Park. But let me emphasize something to you all. When we say we mean you. Friends cannot do this alone. Our ultimate success is a reflection of the community's voice, a voice that says, we value Balboa Park. This magnificent place deserves to be the centerpiece of your continued generosity, and Friends of Balboa Park effectively leverages your generosity into a real, tangible, and measurable difference. And that difference is made because of each and every one of you in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your past support. Thank you for your confidence in our efforts together. And I encourage you to please remain a strong, strong advocate of Balboa Park.
George Hardy is chairman of the Friends for 2017 and 2018. For 36 years, George investigated and prosecuted, or prevented if we were lucky, white-collar crime working for the U.S. Justice Department. Since 1979, he has lived on the eastern edge of the park, and he spends a lot of time participating in activities here. Notably, George is the founding trustee and lifetime member of the Spreckels Organ Society. He presided over the board during the years that were leading up to the organ's 100th birthday celebration in 2014 and 15. George also led a successful capital campaign that restored the Spreckels to its original position of the world's largest outdoor pipe organ. But he's promised to use his indoor voice on us today. Ladies and gentlemen, George Hardy.
Thank you very much, Clark, and it's wonderful to see such a big crowd here today. Thank you so much for coming. You know, Clark, you said you thought maybe 14 years, but actually this is your 15th. This is your 15th time being the master of ceremonies at this luncheon, and I just want to thank you. You know, in my notes here, I know many of you are probably wondering, who is this guy? Have I seen him before? Well, Clark just stole my first couple of paragraphs about who I was. So if you have seen me begging for money before, that's because I was on the stage of the Spreckels Organ Pavilion asking for people to donate to the Spreckels Organ Society, which people did in droves. And as a result, the Balboa Park now has, as Clark indicated, the world's largest outdoor pipe organ that performs magnificently every Sunday from 2 to 3 and on Monday nights during the summer. And very, very soon, I'm told, we will have a new civic organist to announce to Balboa Park and the greater San Diego area. After leaving the board of the Spreckels Organ Society in 2016, Betty Peabody and other co-conspirators, forgive my terminology, but as Clark indicated, I was a federal prosecutor for a long period of time, approached me to join the board of Friends, which I happily did at the end of that year. So eager was I to get involved with the good work of the Friends all over the park that I let myself be named vice chair and chair-elect in January of this year. The incomparable Tom Scott was our chair. Professor, educator, author, husband, father, grandfather extraordinaire. Tom was taken from us in early May. Needless to say, his sudden absence was a major shock. But with the amazing energy, talent, goodwill, drive, and support of the Board of the Friends, I have attempted to honor the legacy of Tom Scott, whose leadership we have so sorely missed. And I just want to acknowledge Bonnie Scott, who is here at the luncheon. It's so wonderful to see you here, and we continue to miss Tom. So John Bolthouse has spoken of the many impressive accomplishments of the work of the Friends in Balboa Park. I get the fun job of talking about some of the projects we have lined up for the near and not too distant future. The purchase of the carousel, of course, is a game changer for us. As you know, a capital campaign is underway right now to complete the purchase and collect sufficient funds for a facelift and ongoing support of this iconic and historic Balboa Park attraction. I need to thank, and I want to thank with all my heart, and recognize Ann Wilson as chair of the Carousel Campaign Committee and Kathy Kim Anderson as vice chair. Ladies, please stand. Thank you so much for everything you have done. Now, if you haven't already given, or even if you have, won't you consider chipping in something a little more? Maybe you need one of our coin boxes. Do you have one? I think you should take one home with you. And, you know, it fits coins nicely here, but it also fits quiet folding money. Small gold bars actually slip in nicely. And I'm told stocks are certificates. So, you know, use your imagination and help us support the Carousel Capital Campaign. And we do have a desk over here, seriously, for you. If you'd like to step over there after you finish your lunch to let us know that you want to participate. And to all of those who have already given, can raise your hands, please? Thank you, 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 thank you. We really, really appreciate it. Now, also over here is the gift shop, which you'll see of shirts and hats and whatnot. All of that, anything you buy there, if there's anything left, is there anything left over there? Anything you buy there, all those proceeds will go towards the Carousel campaign, the capital campaign. So please be generous and think about Christmas. It's not that far off. So looking forward, we have a lot of projects. We have a lot of projects that we're excited about. And you know, one of the reasons for purchasing the carousel was so that we would have funds coming in to support these other projects. And we're very excited to let you know about some of these coming up. First of all, the Morton Bay Fig Tree Platform. There's the rendering of it. This is decking under the canopy, as you see, of the Morton Bay Fig Tree there behind the Natural History Museum, so that people can have, once again, an up-close and personal contact with the canopy of that fig tree, which served such a marvelous purpose for so many years when children could get under there and really enjoy the canopy. Unfortunately, it almost killed the tree. So the fence had to be put up. So we're replacing that fence and putting in a platform, which also might be a great spot for a special event if you want to do it there. Next, and I'd like to recognize Pat Coy for being the project lead on this particular project. Pat, our past chair, has done so much with Friends. And Pat, where are you? I just want to recognize you. Thank you so much. But you're not done. Secondly, I'd like to mention the California Tower project. You may have seen those kind of ugly megaphone-looking speakers that stick out from the top of the tower. Well, with the help of David Marshall, who is the project manager for this project, we're going to replace those with discrete, powerful, new speakers, which will sound out throughout the park in the same great way, in fact, better, but they won't be nearly as unsightly. Thirdly, the rooftop water capture program. This is a wonderful project we've been working on for a while, and the concept is to capture water from the condensate on the HVAC system on the Casa de Balboa, as well as rainwater, if it ever rains again, collect that water, and then use it to irrigate a new garden there next to the Zorro Garden. So we're excited about that project moving forward. Next is the Park Gateway Monuments. So a lot of people come to Balboa Park and don't really realize they're in Balboa Park. I'm actually here in Balboa Park. That's true of visitors, it's true of residents. So this project will establish gateway monuments which will indicate, yeah, you're in Balboa Park. And the idea is, well, the first two of these is planned for Park Boulevard, just north of the the Interstate 5 S-curve. So when you come up Park Avenue from downtown, you know you're in Balboa Park. You're not guessing anymore. Next, we have a project which I'm really excited about, and I'd like to indicate that this is probably going to be in honor of our dear Tom Scott, and Tom's family has indicated a desire to move forward with this project, but it's the recreation of the Honeymoon Bridge across Palm Canyon. Yeah. This bridge was originally constructed in 1935, am I right, David? And lasted until about the early 50s. It was made of wood, and it frankly kind of rotted and had to be taken down. So we want to replace it probably with a steel superstructure. But then we're planning on using some redwood that's already here in the park that's not in such great shape, maybe dying, to clad that bridge. But it's going to be a wonderful spot for people to experience the canopy of Palm Canyon in the near future. So finally, I'd like to mention this last project, which is Trees to Treasures. And this is connected with the Honeymoon Bridge because, you know, you may have noticed that there are a lot of dying and dead trees around Balboa Park, and we have a number of projects aimed at replacing those and keeping the urban forest healthy. Well, this project takes trees which otherwise would be sent to the dump or be used for mulch, and turning them into articles that people can purchase, and then the funds from that project would be returned to Balboa Park as a special dedicated fund to preserve the trees in Balboa Park. Now, we have one pilot tree that we've already harvested. It was dead already. It had fallen on the West Mesa. It's a black acacia. It was taken to a wonderful outfit, San Diego Urban Timber, down in Chula Vista. And like magic, this is what's been created so far. And I'll set this out. We have other articles over here as well. But wouldn't it be wonderful for people to be able to purchase a piece of wood from Balboa Park, have it at their homes? We have large things, we have pens, we have smaller boxes, we have all sorts of things. But the idea of using the wood that's already here is what we have in mind. And please take a look at this when you have a chance later on. Before I conclude, I just want to say that I'm looking forward in the next year to perhaps working with other Balboa Park organizations to focus in on some of other areas of the park which may be currently used for purposes that are not exactly consistent with the master plan or the precise plan. And frankly, I'm talking about the East Mesa. We'd like to see that turned into park space, consistent with the master plan and the precise plan. So I would be completely remiss if I did not start thanking people. And first and foremost, I need to thank the chairs of this luncheon, the chairs of the luncheon committee. And this committee is an amazing committee. They work very hard for many, many months. But could I please have Maureen Lamberti and Carol Fitzgibbon stand where you are so that we can recognize you and thank you. Now, these bouquets up here are for you, and they will be delivered to you, but there's no room at your table, so we'll get them to you in an appropriate way a little later. I also want to thank the sponsors who are listed in your program. Please take your program home. I'd like to thank the advisory board of the Friends of Balboa Park. I would like to thank the Board of Directors. In fact, I want to have the Board of Directors of Friends of Balboa Park stand so that we can acknowledge your volunteerism and your wonderful, wonderful activity. Finally, I would like to acknowledge Lorenzo Fonciolata, who was the wood sculptor over here, who was giving that wonderful demonstration. Thank you. We'd also like to thank the Fern Street Circus, which provided the hula hoop. Who did the hula hoop? Anybody? No? Okay. And then finally, the decor in the foyer is a gift from the San Diego Floral Association to the Friends of Balboa Park. All of the pieces are available for donation to Friends after the luncheon. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for loving and supporting Balboa Park. Thanks.